June 1st, 2026 should have been a career-ending moment for Daphne Joy, the mother of 50 Cent's child. Footage surfaced placing her alongside Diddy, and what was captured on that tape was compromising enough to put her reputation in serious jeopardy. Most women in that position would have leaned into the victim narrative and stayed there, and at first, that is exactly the route she took. But being the high-profile baby mother of 50 Cent meant the spotlight was not going anywhere, and playing the victim was only going to hold up for so long before the full story caught up with her.
That right now is separate. It feel like it's special because this is my son's mom in the actual tape. But we haven't had any intimacy for 12 years. She could be out back with a dog for all I know.
But surprisingly, she did not go that route. What she did instead was actually interesting. First, she largely stepped away from the victim narrative rather than leaning into it. And second, she completely avoided getting pulled into any back and forth with 50 Cent. Now, I think a lot of that has to do with her background and cultural upbringing. She is Puerto Rican and Filipino, and I genuinely believe that shaped how she handled the situation. Because had she come from a different background, the focus would have almost certainly shifted toward the conflict with 50 Cent rather than her own story. Instead, she used the moment to redirect attention toward herself on her own terms, leaning into her personal brand, growing her Instagram presence, and launching an OnlyFans that took off almost immediately. Then came the interviews and collaborations. She made appearances on several major platforms, Adam 22's No Jumper podcast, Cam Newton's show, but the one that really stands out to me was this one.
No.
How have you been though?
I've been good. I'm honestly like a little nervous right now to talk to you.
Are you?
Yeah, a little bit, you know.
So the one thing that really stands out to me is this hair rubbing thing she keeps doing. Now, to be honest, she's literally there to talk about being exposed, but as you can see, she's very focused on selling this image of being extremely feminine. And this is an old school trick. You don't see many women running their fingers through their hair in this particular way. Black women can do it too, sometimes with extensions or a weave, but it's not seductive in this specific way. And even though she's known for being in the industry and largely getting smutted out, when you see this kind of feminine behavior she's displaying, it makes you forget all of that almost instantly. Her mannerisms are basically saying, you're not talking to a 304 at all. But let's just continue. She tells him he's honestly so hilarious, and Academics doesn't really believe that. But again, this is exactly what she's doing. She's making him feel very good about himself, talking about how she likes his content and how she's actually a fan. And then she throws in that she was nervous to be there. Again, she's uplifting the masculine ego of DJ Academics, even though he's the one conducting the interview and she's there to prove something else entirely. Not only does she validate the fact that she finds him funny, but she also gives him proof. She essentially says, I am a listener and here's what I heard you say. That is a basic trick, but it's fundamental. A woman leaning into a man's ego will always show proof that she's genuinely a fan. Now, a black woman could also be a fan of what he does and pull off something very similar, but it may not have come across as quite as submissive as this. Because look at the build. She starts off saying she was nervous to be there, then comes the hair rubbing, then the you're so funny, and then the specific quote back to him. That level of succession, built up one step after another like that, is something a woman like her has been taught. And a lot of women who want access to the spaces of powerful men simply don't know how to build leverage in a conversation in that kind of sequential way. It's almost like she's an offensive coordinator, forcing the defense to come to her just so she can throw the ball over the top. The entire playbook is systematic, one play after another, and it's working. And the system works so well that Academics himself has to say it.
Guys, y'all go watch that convo with me and Daphne Joy, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Y'all know me, I'm anti-tricking, okay? I'm not doing none of that. Never. It's not happening. I'm not coming off $1, you feel me? But I ain't gonna lie, that's the first time I, like, talk to a chick. Yo, bro, she's a pro. Like, I see why she got 50, Diddy, all of that. And she almost got me. Like,
Uh-huh. But
she got a way to talk to us. She make you feel all good inside and shit. If you ugly, she make you feel like you cute. You got a little a little medium schmeat. Like she gonna make you feel like you got that, you know what I mean? That that Titanic, like this shit crazy.
So if you're ugly, she makes you feel good. Got a little situation down there? It's okay. She'll make it feel like it's everything. And this is some of the subtle stuff right here. When you look at it all together, it adds up to something much larger. Yes, she is attractive, but the personality is actually more attractive than the looks, or at least the perceived personality. She comes out swinging with her first impression. And this is one of the fundamental things I notice when black men start dealing with women from other groups who actually find them valuable. The woman goes on the attack. Now, it's passive-aggressive, but it's still an attack. And the attack sounds like, "I'm nervous to be here. I can't believe I'm sitting across from you. I just want to make you feel good about yourself." Whereas if you were out with a sister, the pressure would be on you to prove that you're happy she showed up. You would have to demonstrate that you're worth her time. A lot of guys don't necessarily have a problem with that dynamic, but the fact that she's making it easy for him is exactly why he feels like he genuinely wants to engage with her. When you talk to black men who deal with non-black women, or even some women from the diaspora, this is the kind of energy they often get, especially when the woman is showing real interest. Now, you can say all day that she doesn't actually like him, that he's ugly, that she's just using him for his money. But if she's making a man feel this way, it's okay to be used for your money, because when a woman makes a man feel this way, he'll go out and find more money just to keep that feeling going, and at the end of the day, he'll still be happy, regardless of what he's working with. Fast forward. Now let's get to the Cam Newton episode. Cam is going to ask her about the sexual scene and why it ran so long. This is supposed to be a serious question, but watch her response and pay close attention to her body language. It's classic femininity. It's seduction. The way she's looking at Cam, the fingers going through the hair again. And look, that might just be how she naturally carries herself, but I'm clocking all of it. And when I put myself in anyone else's shoes watching this, none of the other stuff matters anymore. It no longer matters that she has a kid. It no longer matters that she's been passed around. All you're seeing is femininity that is completely off the charts. It's effortless, it's easygoing, and most of the women you encounter daily simply are not like this. And then she opens her mouth and says, "So, you watched all 39 minutes?" And the whole room loses it. Now, although she's not saying anything explicitly sexual, she is being sexy. She's being playful. And a lot of men are drawn to that kind of indirect, non-descriptive sexual energy. Nothing too nasty, nothing too on the nose. It creates mystery. It builds anticipation. She's not addressing it head-on, but she's absolutely playing with it. And that is something men find extremely attractive. This is where a lot of women in the black community tend to lose ground. A woman can be more beautiful than her, can have a better body than he, but if she doesn't have the seductive fundamentals, none of that matters. Because being sexy is not the same as being fine. It's about mannerisms, it's about timing, it's about pacing within the conversation, knowing when to turn it on and when to pull back. It's about coordination. And when you look at women from other groups, a lot of them have been trained in this sophistication from early on. That's exactly why academics called her a pro. A black woman in that same seat probably would have gotten pulled into the drama of the freak-off. She would have been more defensive, more reactive on that podcast. But this woman didn't waste a single second talking about 50 Cent. She used that platform to audition for her next opportunity, and she even admitted that the DMs are flooding in right now. She says she's just observing, and that right there tells you everything. Her past doesn't even matter at this point. What matters is how she's handling herself in this moment. That's why 50 Cent's entire plan completely backfired. This woman simply ignored him and let her femininity do all the talking. And trust me, somebody is going to come along, take her up on the offer, and pay her very well for it. You want to know why? Because she has that old school training. So, guys, what do you think?